Get ready to take your body to the elite level of performance. Call today to set up your free evaluation. 765-499-1005. Elite Performance, where the dream of elite fitness becomes a reality.
There we are. Had to get everything back in working order. Welcome to another episode of Just a Bit Outside. I am cleaning up my desk currently, but I am Quigs, and we're back for another season. It is spring training, so got to break everything in, got to knock off the rust just like the guys down in Florida and Arizona. Get everything popped up here. It is fantastic to be back. It's fantastic that baseball's back. It's not fantastic. I probably don't sound the best, but, I guess that's a combination of allergies and whatever's going around at work. So any kind of coughing, sniffling, or cracking you may hear, I apologize in advance. Advanced? Can't even talk right. And we're spilling everything over here. Beautiful way to knock off the rust. But as we're getting ready here, I'm not a guy that really pays a lot of attention to scores and everything when it comes to spring training games, since it is just a lot of guys getting everything ready, getting their bodies back into game shape. So we're just going to kind of click away on some things here, some things I saw throughout the week. I'm not going to get into end of the off-season moves. We've all seen what's been going on there, but I want to kick off this episode with Trevor Bauer. Whether you love, hate him, everything that's going on, he is still trying to come back to the major leagues. Today he pitched 3 scoreless innings. Let me pop up the screen here. Did pitch 3 scoreless innings today on his way back to try to find a major league team who will give him a chance. He did come out recently and say that he will take a league minimum deal, league minimum, incentive laden. So the guy wants to come back, thinks he deserves another chance. So he pitched today. What was the team? It was a Asian team that came over to play the Dodgers minor leaguers. So he pitched 3 innings there, scoreless ball and a fastball touching 99 miles an hour. So he's definitely stayed in baseball shape for right now. From what I can recall too, had a pretty decent year when he pitched out for the Bay Stars in Japan as well. I don't think he got to pitch in the playoffs. They may have fallen just short, but definitely had a good year out there and trying to come back. Let's see what we got here. Translate post. First appearance in the U.S. in 986 days. Let's see, not giving up a run in 3 innings. Strong appeal for an MLB return. And, according to his agent here, taking pictures, Trevor Bauer, when he was pitching, you see a whole bunch of people lined up. And then after his 3 innings, a lot of people left. So maybe there's room for Bauer somewhere in somebody's rotation. I'm sure if he's definitely going to want only a league minimum kind of deal. I mean, it may not be worth throwing out a flyer, but, we'll see. Not 100% sure what's going to happen, but again, just a guy looking for an opportunity. And speaking of guys looking for opportunities, longtime Red Joey Votto was released. Well, not released. His contract ran up, and Reds really didn't want to give him another shot. So he decided to test the waters, and he is now a non-roster invitee for the Toronto Blue Jays, his hometown team. I know a lot of Reds fans probably wanted him to retire. One of those situations where you want a guy, franchise guy, in fact, to retire with the team that he's been through his entire career. But Votto still feels like he's got a little bit left in the tank. I think I saw a crazy stat too, where he could go 0 for his next 400 some plate appearances, and he'd still have a better on base percentage than Ichiro. So we'll see. Again, I don't know how accurate that is. I didn't really check all the numbers and everything, just scrolling around on Twitter. But definitely a guy who's had a really good career, former MVP. Like I said before, long-time Cincinnati Red franchise guy. Just wants to show that he can keep playing. Out in Toronto, might be a possibility there. I know they've got Vlad Guerrero at first. Maybe they can platoon him there, platoon him at DH versus right-handed pitching. Not sure how often he'll get a chance to play if he cracks the roster. Again, he is a non-roster invitee, so may have a opportunity elsewhere if he doesn't crack the big league club. But again, this is what spring training's about. It's rookies proving their case and veteran guys looking to show that they can still play in some cases. And Joey Votto is just looking for one more opportunity to, play another year, maybe 2 years, especially now that the game has a universal DH. If you can still put bat on the ball and draw walks and get on base, you never know. Never know with a guy like that. So good luck to Joey Votto, and we'll be keeping an eye out on him. I know a lot of the Cincinnati Reds fans will. And speaking of the Cincinnati Reds, pull everything down here. Not some good news coming out of their camp, as their major prospect, Noel V. Marte, suspended 80 games for violating the PED. They got caught for PEDs. And what he got caught for specifically, something called, and again, I'm not a science guy here, so boldenone, some kind of steroid and derivative of testosterone. So not good. First time you get nipped for that, it is an 80-game suspension. He will be able to continue to play during the spring, but once the season opens up, he will have to serve his 80-game suspension. So the Reds were factoring him to be a big part of the roster this year, really expecting him to make an immediate impact at the big league level. A couple quick videos I saw on him, they were really talking about how good of an eye he has, able to get on base, fast, possible, have some power, and especially in a ballpark like Cincinnati where the ball does tend to fly. Definitely going to be a big hole for them to fill. And they were even trying to get rid of Jonathan India too, if I remember correctly. So that's going to put a little bit of a nail in that coffin, I guess you could say. Not sure why they would want to get rid of India to begin with, but now that Marte is going to be out for the first 80 games, you never really know. Never really know. And guys who also never, ever really know, I'm going to have an award this year. I'm going to make something. I'm going to make up some kind of award for the Angel Hernandez moment of the week. It's not always going to be Angel Hernandez, but we're going to have something to where any kind of stupid thing that happens, it's going to be the Angel Hernandez moment of the week. And Angel Hernandez gets to kick off the Angel Hernandez moment of the week by doing something I don't recall that I've ever seen. Let me get the video pulled up here for it. Where did it go? Here it is. So what ended up happening was Andrew Hernandez is behind the plate for the Cardinals, and Lance Lynn gets ejected. Don't know the exact reason. Probably balls and strikes. Just would be my guess. Make it bigger here. Manager then comes out to figure out what's going on. He's like, dude, it's spring training. Gosh, trying to get working. Well, you can't complain. Well, you better call a better zone. I can't read lips, but I'm sure this is part of the conversation that's going on. Lance Lynn, rightfully so, yells some things back, going, hey, it's spring training, dude. Why don't you chill out and, Angel, just get out of here. So then Lance Lynn decides to go to the bullpen and get some work done because it is spring training after all, and the pitchers are trying to get work in to get ready for the season. Nope. Angel Hernandez threw him out of the bullpen. He got thrown out twice in the same game. And he also ejected the manager too. So here we see Lance Lynn, who was only trying to get some work in, and the Cardinals manager walking out of the ballpark because, God forbid, you try to do anything during spring training. Lance Lynn waved by to the fans. Hey, I tried to give you a little bit of, showing of what could happen during the regular season. Tried to get some work in. Tried to do my job. Thanks, Angel Hernandez. Angel Hernandez, stupid moment of the week. I know we are flying pretty quick here, so again, spring training, I'm not going to jump into every single little game and go over every single player and how their performance is and all of that, but one guy I do want to talk about is Jackson Holliday with the Orioles. Now, again, normally I don't talk numbers with spring training and everything because, again, it's spring training. I don't really think they are the best stats in the world to look at. But when a 20-year-old guy comes in, starts hitting, did hit a home run today, hit a grand slam today, and cranked it pretty well. I'll have to pull the video up here. But in almost 30 at-bats, he's hitting 286. He's got a couple RBIs. He's got a stolen base. He's getting on base, getting hits, getting runs, and definitely being somebody who can break camp with the Orioles and be either the starting shortstop or maybe third baseman or any kind of infield. The Orioles have a great situation there with young guys in the middle infield. And then you've got Adley, too, behind the plate. Like, the Orioles are primed to make a lot of big jumps within the next 2-3 years, I want to say. They've got the young talent to make it work, and they're definitely going to be a team to watch, especially if Jackson Holliday can actually break camp. And that brings in a whole other situation of, will he? We've seen time and time again where MLB teams try to manipulate the service time rule for some of these guys. Most famous case I can think of would be Chris Bryant with the Cubs years ago, where he was definitely ready to make the jump, but the Cubs wanted to hold on to that extra year of player control, so they didn't call him up until probably late April, early May, so that way he didn't register a full year. So we'll have to see what. I don't think the Orioles should do that with Holliday. I think if he's going to make an immediate impact, you bring him up and you start him right away. You give him a chance. With the kind of swings he's been showing this spring, I'll pull up the home run here that he hit. And even, too, I was watching a little bit of the Phillies games against the Orioles, and I think first at-bat, he roped a double off of Zach Wheeler and just roped it to the outfield and just squared it up and destroyed it. But here's the home run that he hit today. And against a lefty, too, which I don't know how I want to say this, but lefty-lefty matchup for somebody that young, too, just absolutely destroy the ball the way he did. It's going to be definitely something to watch for the rest of the spring. I think he should break camp. I think a lot of the Orioles fans want him to break camp and make it to the big leagues right off the bat. They don't want to wait around. But again, I'm just a guy sitting in front of a webcam and a microphone who can't talk all too well right now, but that's just my opinion on that. Speaking of infielders here, I got too many tabs open at once. This is what happens when you gotta get everything together for another show and it's spring and you're trying to figure out things. What can you throw on? What can you talk about? Mookie Betts was supposed to move to the infield this year. He was getting reps at second base. He was going to be the full-time second baseman, but now all of a sudden, according to Bob Nightingale, that Mookie Betts is going to be the permanent shortstop for now, or so says Dave Roberts. Again, Dodgers are a team, literally a walking all-star team now with Ohtani and Freeman and Betts, and if Yamamoto can come in and deal the way that he dealt the last few years in Japan, but don't know if I get Mookie Betts moving over to shortstop when they already had Gavin Lux, unless it has something to do with his knee that he injured last year. Lux, that is. Gavin Lux tore his ACL in spring last year, missed the entire year, but I don't know why you would move Mookie from second to short. Shortstop, I think, would even be a harder transition to move from the outfield than second base, possibly. Excuse me. Part of the allergies kicking in. Again, why would you move Mookie? Maybe they feel Lux is better at second. Maybe they think Mookie has a better athletic ability at shortstop than anybody they have on the roster. Maybe they just want to see if he can do it just in case. We've seen the Dodgers definitely move guys around. They always had Chris Taylor for years, kind of just playing a whole bunch of different positions. Max Muncy could play second, first, or anywhere in the outfield. Maybe the Dodgers are just trying to get ahead and find any kind of guy that can play any position. That's also a possibility. Just get all the bats in that you can. Sacrifice a little defense. It worked for the Phillies last year, so I don't know. Again, spring training, things to watch in spring training. Not saying that it's the end of the world or it's going to be 100%. Mookie Betts is going to be the opening day shortstop. It's a possibility, but who knows? That's what spring training's for. And this is the kind of things you see in spring training. Hey, you want to try this? Cool. Get out there and get it done. But things to get better. How do I want to phrase this? You'd think before games would start, you'd have your jersey, or at least have all the jersey issues fixed. Nike recently acquired the rights. Ironically enough, if I can figure out my left from my right, Nike has acquired the rights to MLB's jerseys, formerly Majestic had it. Majestic was bought out by Fanatics. Fanatics partnered with Nike to make this year's jersey. And right off the bat, there were issues. There were photos going around of things I'm not going to pull up because, again, I try to keep it a family-friendly show as much as I can. Where are you? Tab. Here we go. So, the murder of MLB jerseys in a thread. In this picture, On the left, you see last year's jersey, and on the right, this year's jersey. You can already tell the name and the number has been shortened. I would even want to go as far as saying the number 4 looks off center on this guy's jersey. What do we got here? Yeah, pants, we'll get there. We'll get to the pants issues. Again, that's part of the pictures I didn't want to bring up was regarding the pants. But MLB first didn't get Nike didn't get these jerseys out quick enough for guys in spring training. So there were guys in spring training wearing last year's jerseys or last year's pants with the new jersey because Nike couldn't get them out in time. Or I don't know, that's the excuse. Here's another one we see of JP Crawford. Again, on the left being last year's jersey, on the right being this year's. They lowered the last name. They stretched it out. And they just look cheaper as well. They don't look sewn on. They look like that kind of jersey shirt type of material, kind of like the P I've got up here, where it's just kind of heat pressed on. Had issues delivering football uniforms to high schools too. School's been waiting for a year or more. So why take the contract then? If you can't meet the demand, why take the contract? But yeah, they also basically with these jerseys, they shifted everything down. So instead of going across the shoulders, it kind of just goes across the middle of the back. And you'll see here's Mitch Garver, where again, it looks off center. Mitch Graver, space between the E and the R. And then Pete Alonso's here. Where the issue comes in, instead of having everything sit up higher and run across the shoulders like with Verlander, you've got names bending around the entire back because they've taken the area to fit everything comfortably and they shrunk it. So just imagine guys with humongous last names. Like just imagine Jared Saltalamacchia with this new jersey. It would literally have to start at the bottom of the number and come all the way around. And it would just looks like a mess. And here's the picture for Seattle, what I was talking about with the stamp-on material, where on the left you can see that it's more of a sewn-in material, kind of stitched on, looks nice, looks embroidered, the correct term, I believe. But then on this year's, T-pressed. And it everything I've read, they feel cheap, they look cheap, and they're charging more for them too, by the way. So not only did you get a more terrible design with a cheaper feel, but you got to pay more for it too. And here's some issue with the pants, the PG version that we can show. That's not a seam or anything. That is the bottom of the jersey there that you see. Down around the thighs. That is part of the jersey. And here there's some more. And just again, I don't understand how these guys get away with this. And this is a good one. Fan took a picture of the jersey in the team store, complained about how bad it was and how cheap it looks and everything. And then the Fanatics support says, looks like we dropped the ball on this one. Send me a DM so we can get everything fixed. What are you going to fix? It's already out there. It's already in the team stores. Now, I'm sure that's just an automatic robot, just tagging everything on that it can, but it's bad. And players have already complained about this. The MLBPA is aware. Manfred is aware. I don't believe anything's ever going to get fixed about it. They say they're going to fix it. They say they're going to get new jerseys out, but we'll see. I don't have any faith that Nike's going to. I think you're going to go into opening day and you're still going to see jerseys through guys' pants, essentially. And it's going to be a laughing stock. And it's going to be stupid. It's going to look terrible. and things looking terrible too is Anthony Rendon, who hasn't played a full season since, let me look it up here, since 2019. Is not a baseball guy. And I'll preface this by saying that I'm not asking anybody to put their job above, their family or anything like that. But when you're a major athlete and you're paid let me pull it up here. It was a 7-year, $245 million contract coming off of a year where you finished third in MVP voting, that you would, not get with the program a little bit, but kind of put a little more out there of wanting to be there. Yeah, Fanatics being the fall guy. And Fanatics has said too that they're just doing whatever Nike told them. So we'll see. That'll be something to keep an eye on. Let me get the Rendon video here. So even Rendon was asked about this too, and we'll play the audio for this one.
Is it still a top priority for you?
So is baseball still a top priority?
This is a job. So I do this. It's never been a top priority for me. This is a job. So I do this to make a living. My faith, my family come first before this job. So if those things come before it, I'm leaving.
Is it a priority?
Oh, it's a priority for sure. This is my job. I'm here, aren't I?
Do you want to be here?
I don't want to talk to you guys at 7 a.m. or whatever time it is. So
Do you want to like be here playing baseball?
I have answered your question. So why do you keep picking at it?
Oh, yeah, you technically answered it.
Thank you.
And Rendon's not the most friendly guy when it comes to the LA media there ever since he's gotten there. You do have to have a little responsibility, especially when you're getting paid almost $250 million for it. But Rendon has also said, he doesn't watch the game at all. He doesn't watch it. He thinks the season's too long. And he just complains about a whole bunch of stuff too. So again, a guy making this kind of money who at the time of signing his contract was one of the best third basemen, to come out for a while. Let me get this pulled up here. I don't know if you can see it here too, but coming off of the year in 2019, his best year in the majors, 44 doubles, 126 RBIs. The World Series year for Washington in 2019. All-Star and Silver Slugger, finished third in the MVP voting. Again, the third year in a row to hear of receiving any type of MVP votes from 17 and 18. But then signs his contract for LA and then just cannot stay healthy. Now, again, too, you could probably argue that, it's his age 30 year and he's getting older and injuries are going to happen to older guys. I get that. But he just kind of comes across as a guy who doesn't want to be there. And he's just going through the motions. And I can understand how a lot of fans, myself included, of course I can understand myself how I feel, but feel like he's dogging it. And for a guy who is there just to go through the motions, this is my job. Well, yeah, it's your job and you're kind of needed to perform a little bit. So let's perform a little bit here, Rendon. I want him to have a healthy year. I want him to come out this year and just shut everybody up. That would be great for the guy who just wants to go through the motions and have a shorter season and take the demands off some of the players and just go out there and rake like he did in 2019. Hey, power to you. Then that just proves your point even more that you're trying to make. But you're trying to make these points and then you're not able to deliver. I think it has something to do with your how you come across to the media. Speaking of media, the Montreal Expos, we're getting towards the end here, you can tell. Montreal Expos are, well, there's no longer around, obviously, but there will be a documentary coming to Netflix about the move from Montreal down to Washington, and how a lot of people still wish that the Expos were still a team. And I kind of wish they were still around too, to be honest. Giving credit, I feel like the Expos, before they moved, were kind of treated like the Tampa Bay, then Devil Rays. Just kind of like a random team, not really competitive. Facilities weren't all that good, and nobody really wanted to go there. Kind of what it felt like. Issue with guaranteed contracts too, and Major League Baseball is still one of the only ones to fully guarantee their contracts. Starting to have that bleed over into football too. But the Dukes can touch on that one then when they get everything back up and rolling, because there's been a lot of NFL free agency going around lately. But with the Expos documentary coming out, should be a good watch. I hope that it's more investigative, behind the scenes type of thing. Because they had some really good players there. I mean, Vlad Guerrero started there. Pedro Martinez was there. Randy Johnson started up there. Tim Raines, Hall of Famer, played up there. Yeah, their stadium did suck. But that was the cookie cutter AstroTurf fields back in the day, though, too. Fan base didn't care about them then, but they care about them now. So might as well make something happen out of it and throw a thing on Netflix there. One of the rumored areas to get another expansion team could possibly be Montreal, since the whole Oakland thing to Vegas. And what were some of the teams that, or some of the cities that were some of the betting favorites? Nashville was one. Montreal was one. Maybe Salt Lake City might have been up there. Strike year, yeah. And, I'd have read about that one. The strike year really messing them up, and probably the season that destroyed any future baseball in Montreal. But something to keep your eyes on. Haven't seen when that's going to debut yet, or when it's going to drop, when they're going to put it out there. But just again, something to keep your eyes on. And final thing we'll touch on here, Houston, we've got Bananas. The Savannah Bananas had their first game inside of a major league ballpark over the weekend, starting out their tour down in Houston. Let me get this queued up here. And we'll just play this real quick. This is only a minute long.
First ever Banana Ball game played in a Major League Baseball stadium. The home of the Houston Astros is officially yellow and pink. Minute Maid Park is rocking and rolling with over 41,000 Bananiacs. The Rocket, Roger Clemens! Give it up for Tess Redden! The Wizard of Oz, Roy Oakland! The juice box was extremely juiceful tonight. Unbelievable stuff. Jason Swan, no mercy for Roger Clemens. Swanee. Working out right now. Oh, hasta la noche. And this might be the loudest we've heard Minute Maid Park. The streams come through. Here comes Cowboy Kyle Lewis, born in Texas. Special moment. And the Savannah Bananas win the first ever Banana Ball game in a Major League Baseball stadium. One that we will never forget. 1, 2, 3,
It's definitely something pretty cool there from a team that kind of just goes around to minor league ballparks and does this show, finally getting a chance to go to a Major League stadium and selling it out. 41,000 fans there from the video. And they do all sorts of tricks and everything. Bananas center fielder backflip catch from I believe that was last year or 2 years ago. But yeah, like these guys can play. And you saw in the video, they brought back Roger Clemens. They brought out Josh Reddick. They brought in Roy Oswalt. So they're definitely making some stops around. I believe the closest one here, they are coming to Philadelphia. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I get picked to purchase some tickets to go down, because I'd love to see who they bring in. They've already had Shane Victorino come in and play a game of banana ball. What was one final video here? Just them announcing Roger Clemens to the mound being pretty cool. And then he got rocked a little bit, but what can you expect?
11-time Major League All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, and 7-time Cy Young Award winner, the Rocket, Roger Clemens!
Not piped in audio, by the way. That's real audio.
From a man on the mound with 7 years of minor league baseball experience to a reliever with 24 years in the bigs. Take a look at the illustrious numbers from Roger Clemens' career. Trying to find the zone for a payoff. Tapped back to him. Jumping play, underhand to first. EJ behind the back.
And nothing like a little behind the back catch from the first baseman to end the inning there from Roger Clemens. But that's all I've got here for the spring training edition. Thanks for sticking around and helping me knock off some of the rust and stumbling and fumbling and knocking everything off my desk here at the beginning. So that was always fun. Hopefully next time I'm feeling a little bit better. Next time we'll be on, the season will be underway, and we'll see what the Angel Hernandez moment of the week is. I do want to make that a thing so bad. I want to, even if it's just like a little printable like certificate I can fake hand out to whoever. It doesn't always have to be an umpire. It doesn't always have to be Angel Hernandez, but whoever has the stupid moment of the week can get the Angel Hernandez moment of the week award. Keep an eye on the network for everything coming out. Super Kicking It with Steven and Greg have been dropping videos leading up to WrestleMania. Basketball, State of Basketball should be on here. I think I've seen them a couple times. Yep, we'll break that news. By the time the MLB season starts too, she'll be around. So that's just a scary thought. But if there may be a baby crying in the background in the future. So we'll deal with that when that arrives. But you've seen the sponsors scrolling across on the bottom there. Go check them out. They've been great to us. Elite Performance, Checkered Life Customs, Fighters Friends, Doc Sports Picks, mybookie.ag, TheOne's Kitchen, Interview Sportswear, Southern Indiana Combat Production, Deals, Discount, and more. Go check them out. They've been great to us. Please be great to them. Thank you for sticking around. Here's to baseball. Here's to good times. And here's to having a great rest of the week. We'll see you.